Naga Miss Khobar, Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association, NSEAOA Khan Laga 15th General Conference to Aji Din, 25th October 2024 te Role of an Able Administrator, Theme Upar te Capital Convention Center Kohima te tha ki she. A2 Moy te special guest hisab kotha koi ke na school education aru SCERT laga advisor ke kril hule yome para koi she ki education department laga administrative officer Khan laga. Dignity na hoy le ba saman tu department te reformation aru bhal kam hobo le karu nei wapas ani bo lage. Yome Khan sob mili ke na input dibo lage aru court te bia hoy ashe etu jani ke na bhal kam kuri jabo lage koi she. Advisor par Jonai di she ki sorkar para Nagaland Education Administrative Service jol di ani bo le chesta kuri ashe. Commissioner Secretary School Education, Kevileno Angami para koi share education laga raj te hoy le, School aru Education Administrator Khan tu porha likha laga architect ashe. Kevileno he koi she ki tai Khan la jie role tu ekta management kuriya ekla na hoy kintu tai Khan tu vidyarthi Khan ke bhal foundation di kena tai Khan laga education journey tu takra bana bola. Ge. NSEAOA President Aru Assistant Director School Education, N. Thangchio Shatire Para Department K School Manual Ul Bo Le Suggest Kuri She. Tai He Koi She A2 Teachers Aru Department Karu Nei Ekdom Important Guide Kuriya Rule Hobo. Khobar Corner He A2 Ani She Aru Apuni Khan Ke Ami Khan Laga Channel to subscribe, like Aru share Kuri Kena Hodai inform Thaki Bo Le Anurodh Kuri Ashe.
Now, the English news. The 15th General Conference of Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association NSEAOA was held today, 25th October 2024 on the theme Role of an Able Administrator at Capital Convention Center Kohima. In his speech as the special guest, Advisor for School Education and SCERT Kekril Hule Yome stressed on the need for restoring dignity among the administrative officers of the department to bring about overall reformation in the functioning of the department. We need to put in our inputs. We need to identify where we are failing. We need to tell each other that there has to be some remarkable changes, he said. The advisor also informed that the government is initiating the Nagaland Education Administrative Service. Commissioner and Secretary School Education, Kevileno Angami said in the realm of education, school or education administrators stand as the architects of academic success. Their role goes beyond mere management. They are the builders of the foundations upon which students' educational journeys are constructed, she said. NSEAOA President and Assistant Director School Education, N. Thangchio Shatire suggested that the department should bring out a school manual which would be a very important guiding rule to help the teachers and the department as a whole. Khobar Corner brings this news with a request to subscribe, like and share our channel and always remain informed.
I request Dr. Imsatoshi Lemter, Associate Pastor, Kohima Ao Baptist Aruku, to say the invocation prayer.
Let us look to Bible prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you have given to every individual. Father, as we come before you today and this 15th General Conference of Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association Program, Lord Jesus, we invoke your Holy Spirit. We pray that this conference, this meeting will be a fruitful and a channel of blessing. Lord, we seek your kindness and your wisdom. Us, our leaders, are going to discuss and make a decision for a betterment, upliftment for school education and in different areas, for different areas. Lord Jesus, may you bestow our leaders with discernment, health, and strength as they lead this association, and all the participants and all the reminding program and do your magic here. Because I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Now we'll have a time of introduction and presidential address by Shri An Kangchoi Shitiri, a recipient of State and National Awardee Teacher, also a recipient of Indian Achievers Award for Shiksha Ratan. He has also published Handbook on School Management, a first of its kind in the Department of School Education in 2015. At present, he is serving as Assistant Director in the Department of School Education and the President of NCUA, Nagaland.
Good morning, everyone. Before I take my time, we shall have district-wise attendance as notified. So wherever you are seated, you may kindly rise up, okay? As I call out, you please rise up wherever you are seated. Officers from Directorate. Okay, you may be seated. Then Chimugidima District. Okay, there. Then Dimapur District. Kohima District. Okay. Kifri District. Alright. Longland District. Mokokchung District. Okay. Mon District. Newland District. Maybe still on the way. Alright. Noglak. Anyone from Noglak? Beren. Peg. Very good. Shamadur District. Tuinsang. Semenu. Woka. Zinyoboto. Is there anyone from Bogobodo subdivision? Okay. All right, that is all about the attendance. Well, our association was formed on 8 August 1990 with a handful of officers led by Sri O.N. Marin as its first and top convener, and subsequently on 16 November 1990, Sri D. Gurung was elected its first president and Sri O.N. Marin as general secretary. And as per record, I want to clarify that Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association is confined to elementary and secondary cadres only, because at the time of formation, those were the only officers in the department, and accordingly registration was done as per Society Registration Act. Therefore, there is no confusion about the nomenclature of our association. And since formation, the association has been rendering all-out support and services to the department as a responsible registered officers association for the last 34 years of its existence. However, it is saddening to observe that very often the government failed to address the genuineness to groom their personnel management, particularly in the rank of officers over the years, which has resulted in a cadre not being able to fill up the 2 additional director sanctioned posts since July 2020 and the post of Director School Education since May 2017 respectively. Besides, many deserving officers were denied of their promotion in the past years, and till today, hardly a cadre could occupy the post of Joint Director is a serious service matter to be looked into. We all are aware that school education department is manned by 2 main cadres, such as elementary and secondary cadre and higher secondary cadre, besides primary teachers, handy teachers, physical education teachers, language teachers, planning, and then ministerial employees, and each of the cadre needs service benefits as per Nagaland rules according to its hierarchy. And it is bound to protect all the categories of employees as per the nature of appointment and need to ensure that there should not be encroachment of posts from among the different cadres to avoid confrontation. As stated, when the department has numerous categories of employees, there was no proper teachers recruitment policy. Therefore, the department has been encountering multiple cases of service regularization. Also, unless I'm not mistaken, the last departmental graduate teacher recruitment was held in 1992. It's been maybe 33 years. After which, a top appointment system started and has resulted surplus appointment of teachers, proxy, ghost, and absenteeism practices took place. And in order to regularize their services, the government used different yardstick and service condition that has turned into a catastrophic situation for seniority list, deal debt, and hampering their service cadre. Another concern is with the launching of different flagship programs like SSA for universalization of elementary education and RMSA for secondary education has a mixed implication, particularly in teachers' recruitment policies, that has led to numerous unresolved hiccups in matters of service management and infrastructure providence. Because of these 2 programs, all the retirement and the promotion vacancies of the state teacher sanctioned posts were freezed, probably since 2011. Somehow, most of the assistant teachers' appointees mainstreaming have been done, but RMSA teachers' appointees of 2016 and other services regularization is still under observation, which is huge in number, is a big challenge for the department. Keeping this in view, there is an urgent need to resolve it at the earliest, since these 2 flagship programs have been merged into Samagra Shiksha. It is observed that the directorate should have a proper academic cell to accelerate for periodical monitoring and inspection of schools, in which the field officers of TOs, senior STOs, STOs, ATOs, JUs, and AUs should be given the responsibility with the necessary budgetary allotment to perform their assigned duties, focusing for proper management of classes to compete among the government schools with the available resources in place. It is high time for all the stakeholders of the departmental officers to strive towards the challenges in the largest interest of the students' community and to lift up the department into its height, as globally the value of education system has been so much in advanced stage. Mention may be made that another factor why the government schools could not shine is due to school management problem. And therefore, This has to be given more attention, and to solve this problem depends upon the heads of the school. Once the management of the school is in place, naturally flow of the enrollment will inevitably increase and performance of the school will be made aware of. Now the NEP 2020 have started implementing in the state. All the stakeholders are fully responsible to carry out the given activities as enshrined. Whether you all agree with me or not, what I personally want to say is that the department is not for generating employment opportunity. Rather, it should be a generating agency for academic excellence, where it is still missing in my humble observation. Well, allow me to say that it is nothing wrong to learn the file noting and process even from lower subordinate staff, as learning is a lifelong process for any sensible persons. And I urge all of you to be more dedicated in discharging our bona fide duties wherever we are posted. As for me, I had been to 7 different government high schools and 2 designated offices where I had voluntarily surrendered even my casual leave entitlements. And I believe this is one area of self-dedication I want to share to all my dear esteemed officers. As far as the officers' promotion cases are concerned, the government has been doing justice to the employees, and filling up the resultant vacancies have been going on without much interruption for the last 3 years, except on some stray cases of non-fulfilling of the norms and due to DBC clearance issues. In some cases, it got delayed. The association expressed gratefulness to the authority and is confident that the government shall continue to exert, allowing promotion to the elementary and secondary cadres as usual, because unlike any other cadres, even a single day is very precious and of great value for availing retirement benefits. Nevertheless, it is better late than never to examine all these matters as stated, and it is my humble appeal to our Honorable Advisor School Education and SCRD, who is the first academician by profession to hold the school education portfolio in the state, who has a vast experience in the field of education, to kindly resolve it at the earliest. We are all out in support of your able and visionary leadership in policy making in this department sector. Besides, we have our respected Madam, Commissioner and Secretary School Education and SCRD, our dynamic administrative head, who is very knowledgeable and ready to resolve any issues confronting the department, with a strong support from our Principal Director, our Director, and officers, and they can collectively reshape the impending needs of the department in the largest interest of our cadre officers in particular. The association have very high expectation, seeking all your intervention to rescue and solve our long pending grievances. Presently, there are around 320 officers of elementary and secondary cadres across the state, when the actual strength is 555 as per available sanctioned posts, excluding 57 AU posts mean for the primary teachers. I also want to share my humble contribution to the department that I have been serving the department's association as ANSTA General Secretary for 12 years, an advisor, and also as an advisor, General Secretary and President for NCUA, altogether for the last consecutive 25 years in about 33 years of my whole service, where I had written 103 representations during ANSTA and nearly 150 might have written by me to the government for the welfare of the department. Today, I'm very happy and contented to celebrate my silver jubilee, 25 years of serving in this bona fide service association works since 1999. Maybe the longest associated members in this chosen department. Indeed, I'm so fortunate to serve under 12 directors, retired directors, including the present, then the 5 principal directors, and 14 HODs, secretary, and above. I assume that whatever little things that I have learned have been paid off, and I will be gratefully retiring from the directorate very shortly. And during my leadership, the following are the few important issues initiated and taken up through the 2 associations. Number 1, graduate teachers seniority list from psychostyle copy to booklet form in 2003. Number 2, the first 1977 service rule revision in February 2003. 3. And Unstuck Constitution was published in September 2003. Number 4, action taken by government for 17 points Charter of Demands and fulfillment of different ultimatums from 2008 to 10. 5, grant of assured career progression SCP in February 2007. 6, restructuring and revamping of the school education department in July 2011. 7, elementary and secondary officers seniority list psychostyle 2 booklet form in 2015. 8, handbook on school management, a first of its kind, was published in May 2015. 9, Nagaland School Education Service Rule Revision November 2017. 10, BSLC Examination Conduct Rules drafted in 2019. 11, ensure Constitution being published and will be released today by our Honorable Advisor. In conclusion, I would like to suggest to the department to bring out a school manual, which is very important guiding rules that helps the teachers and the department as a whole. I'm indeed honored to address this general conference as its incumbent president this morning and express my thankfulness to all of you for making possible to attend this general conference. Finally, I appeal one and all to forgive our present team of office bearers if there is any non-fulfillment of our members' aspiration and desires, knowingly or unknowingly, in spite of the fate reposed on us during our short tenure in NCUA office. Give it up and long live Nagaland School Education Administrative Officer Association. Thank you so much.
We are privileged to have Srimati Kevileno Angami, the Commissioner and Secretary for School Education and SCERT Nagaland, also the Vice Chairman of the Project Steering Committee, NECTAR Nagaland Education Project. I would like to invite our Madam to deliver her speech, Role of an Able Administrator.
It's indeed a privilege for me to be standing here to talk on the role of an able administrator. And I thank the organizers for giving me this time. I also thank God for giving all of us this opportunity to come together. The President has just delivered a thought-provoking address. And therein he had mentioned about how the association was started and why you have only 2 cadres of officers in this association. Our motto says, shaping destiny. And when we talk about the shaping of destiny, we presume that it's shaping this destiny of not just the officers of this cadre, but then the shaping the destiny of the officers in the school education department. At the same time, shaping the destiny of children in our schools, in our states. Well, all of you have come from schools as school administrators. You have the experience of administrating a school. So you are better placed and you are better conversant with how an administrator should function. In addition to that, we now have the school leadership program being imparted by the SCRT, which is now going to be mandatory for all promotions from the school level heads to that of officers at the directorate level and in the districts. So you are very conversant of your roles and responsibilities. But at the same time, I would also like to just give you some points what a school leader should be, what are the roles and responsibilities of a school leader should be. So it will just be supplementing what you already know. But when we come to the directorate or the administrative level in the offices, there are some shortcomings which we observe in all of us. Therefore, we need to correct each other, we need to teach each other. And therefore, I will highlight some of these points. In the realm of education, an education administrator stands as the architect of academic success. The role goes beyond mere management. They are the builders of the foundation upon which the students' educational journey are constructed. And through effective leadership, they set the tone for positive and inclusive school culture. Education administrators must balance competing interests, allocating resources wisely to maximize the students' achievement and well-being. That we are all aware. The school education department is a service delivery department, delivering service to the children, to our schools, to our people. And therefore, our interest, our priority should be allocating our resources, our human resources, wisely to maximize students' achievement. Leadership and decision making. The role of an education administrator is distinguished by its emphasis on leadership and decision making. Their decisions and guidance set the tone for the entire organization, influencing the school culture and ultimately the student outcome. The leadership they provide extends to creating and maintaining a positive and inclusive environment. I think we also have to ask ourselves whether our leadership is providing an inclusive environment or not. Their responsibilities demand strategic decision-making skills, navigating the intricacies, which requires nuanced approach and that balances the diverse interests and priorities. Next, leading and supervising the faculty and staff. One of the primary jobs of the education administrators is providing leadership to the teachers and to the other staff working in their organizations. Some of you are still in the schools as school administrators, but most of you are already here in the directorate and in the district establishments as administrators. So whether we are able to provide that leadership to our schools, to our organization or not. Administrators are held accountable for the success or failure of the educational institutions, so they have a significant stake in making sure that they work with the superiors and subordinates as a team. Teamwork is critical for an administrator. Teamwork with your colleagues, teamwork with your subordinates, as well as your superiors. And here, when we are talking about school education, we would also like to talk about teamwork with officers in the other cadres. Teamwork, whether it's in the planning cadre or in the other cadres, we have to work as a team because our objective is the same. Whether you belong to the secondary cadre or to the elementary cadre or to the higher secondary cadre, our objective is the same. And therefore, teamwork is critical. And I want all of us to ponder about that. Creating and maintaining a positive and inclusive school office teamwork culture. This, I want all of us to think about it and to inculcate this habit of working as a team for school education and not as an officer of separate cadres. For administrators, inspection, monitoring, and supervision of staff is critical, which we are all aware of. And in the school education department, we need to improve, we need to enhance our inspection and monitoring activities. Interpretation of information and data analysis. You might be wondering why I have included this, but it is important. As administrators, we should be able to read data. We should be able to interpret data, analyze data, and infer from it. How many schools we have? How many teachers we have? What is the kind of indicators which we have in the school? What is the retention rate or enrollment rate? We need to be able to interpret data and take corrective action. Next, embrace technology. During our times, IT was not so common. The use of IT was not so common. But now in our schools, we are now installing smart classrooms, smart TVs. We are now installing computers in all our schools. And we have to upgrade, we have to update ourselves with the advancement in technology. Otherwise, we will become obsolete. We cannot be saying that we na jane. We never learn. We have to learn. We have to start learning. And it is not difficult if we are willing to learn. And therefore, embracing technology is critical for all of us. Otherwise, we will be left behind. School administrators as builders of foundations for academic success. As administrators in the school education department, we are responsible for designing and implementing educational policies. We are not just teachers teaching in the school who have been promoted, but we are, and with your experience, you are expected that you will be involved in the designing of the educational policies. You'll be involved in the curriculum development with your inputs, with your suggestions, and not just implementing the curriculum provided by the SCRT or by the NCRT, but we are also responsible to give our inputs for the curriculum design for the educational policies. As administrators who have had the field experience, you are better placed to give your suggestions, to give your inputs, and contextualize our educational programs. And therefore, we should come forward rather than expecting someone else to do for us. we should come forward to give our suggestions to the SCRT and to the other cells who prepare the curriculum or who design the educational policies. Your inputs are critical. The next is professional growth and updating ourselves on the newest movements in educational administration and in the procedures of the government and the conduct rules. As administrators in the schools, we have been posted to remote locations far away from the administration hub in the Kohima Indirectorate. But we have to be aware of the activities, we have to be aware of the upgradation in knowledge which is happening elsewhere. We now have various medium platforms where we can learn even by ourselves. So we have to upgrade ourselves. We now have various training programs for our officers, but in addition to that, there are various platforms available for us where we can update our knowledge. We also have to update our knowledge on the government rules and policies. We have to update ourselves on the procedures. When we don't do that, we will be violating many of the government rules. And most of us are not aware that there are government conduct rules. Even submission of ultimatums, representations, there are channels to do that. You cannot be, as a government servant, you cannot be submitting ultimatum to the government. If you have grievances, there are various ways of airing your grievances, expressing your grievances, or representing to the government. But ultimatum from a government servant to the government is not done. So we have to apprise ourselves, we have to update ourselves on the government rules and procedures. The government has its conduct rules, which, if you go through the conduct rules, there are various restrictions, limitations for us. And if we violate those government conduct rules, the government can take action. And it should not be that any of us are found violating the conduct rules. So even if you have grievances, there are always redressal mechanisms. So please update yourselves on the procedures, on the government rules, on the conduct rules. I've got a few points more. Be a lifelong learner. Well, most of us, we have the tendency to say that itiado buri hoise, na? So, but as educators, and especially as educational administrators, we have to be lifelong learners. We are the ones who are teaching children in the schools. We are the ones who are to guide our administrators in the schools, our teachers in the schools. Therefore, we need to be lifelong learners. We have to inculcate this habit. We should also be open to change and should be flexible. Times are changing, policies are changing, the environment is changing, and we cannot be rigid and stick to our old self, to our old way of functioning. We have to adapt to change. And therefore, all of us need to be flexible for positive change. And most of all, we have to be problem solvers. In the education department, no problem has a specific solution. Problems from the various districts, from the various schools, from the various teacher communities, associations will differ. And therefore, we should be in a position to be able to solve problems accordingly. And the school education department, being a human resource department dealing with human resource, we have multifaceted problems. But for each of these problems, there is also a solution. And therefore, our primary task would be to solve problems. So rather than shelving it, we should be problem solvers. The key to successful administrator lies in problem solving skills and decision making needs. Education administrators, whether operating in the elementary and secondary schools or the higher secondary level, play a crucial role in shaping the educational landscape of our state. The real role of leadership in education is not and should not be command and control. The real role of leadership is the climate control and creating a climate of possibilities. This is in the words of Ken Robinson, a British author and speaker. So thank you very much.
Advisor, School Education and SCRT. Sir, kindly do us the honor of releasing the Ensua Constitution, followed by a speech.
We thank the wonderful Lord for giving us this good opportunity. I'm also really honored to be invited to be part of your program. I had the opportunity to discuss with our officers at the Directorate. About 69 of them are there. Out there in the field, we have about 429 officers. We were just been informed by our President that there are 555 ascension posts. So these are some of the statistics which are coming in. So today, along with our departmental officers led by our Madam Commissioner, Madam Quevelenio, and all the officers here, I warmly salute all of you. Some of you had taken journeys, mercies, coming from different parts of the state. So you all had a very tiring time, but I hope that your deliberation today will be good. And I also wish to congratulate the team which is to come, replacing our dynamic. He had given us a lot. Thank you, sir, for your contributions in your various capacities. It's also a personal achievement, but personal achievements notwithstanding everything, is also because of the support, the team which you have. I am not a very diplomatic person, as some of you, we are meeting for the first time for some of you, but I like to get into the facts of business. And we are here to deliver. We are here as individuals in our own capacity. We are committed into our own business, into our own profession, and we are here in the interest of public service. We are serving our job, but to what extent we are happy, to what extent we are unhappy, is measured in the terms of the 178 court cases which was there when I joined the department. It has come down to 108 as of now. There are no solutions from some of these court cases, but some solutions will come when the case also disappear or when people retire. And if you look carefully at these 108 court cases, it is all related to service matters. It is all related to squabblings within ourselves, infighting within ourselves, and all sorts of denials, which comes in the form of fights over seniority, fights in the form of entitlements. So today, like how I've been telling our directorate officers, I want to also challenge all of you. Are we prepared to fight more? Or are we here for a purpose? Are we here to serve our people? Are we here for the larger interest of our children who are out there in the field? Are we all fighting so that we outsmart each other, so and so forth? I'm sorry to say this because I want you to recollect when you first joined your service. I'm much younger than all of you, But when you first joined the service, you were also young, you were also full of dynamism. Not that you do not have just now, but as a bright young boy and girl who had just graduated, who had just earned the degrees, you are out there to give the best of yourself for your children, for your school children. I do not know. In the process, I do not know whether it has waned or not, but I've been telling our officers, seniority has killed our department. And of course, there are a lot more things. Last year, we have introduced training for our principals and our promotee assistant headmasters. There has been no training for the teachers. We know in Karnataka, all DEOs are lateral entry, and we have been mooting some of these ideas of late. I want my teacher, because I've been also a teacher, you were all once upon a time teacher, standing in front of your classroom, standing in front of the blackboard, and today, through your din of hard work, you have risen to this level, to this occasion. But you were never trained as an administrator, and we must recollect and we must remember that being a teacher is completely different from being an administrator. So today, we have our own structural issues to be looked at. I am not blaming all the officers. What I'm saying is, we were not given that opportunity to be given training. Now it will become mandatory for all teachers who are to get into the field of what we call administration to be given that responsibilities. The third aspect of teacher and administrator is the professionalism of being a leader in the form of a head of an institution. We have all been head of institutions. Recently, we took our department for a tour, and in developed countries, they have the dignity of calling a head teacher, what we call head teacher of a primary school, as principal. A secondary school head of institution is also called principal. A higher secondary school head of institution is also called principal. But today, in our case, we call high schools as headmasters. We call principals of higher secondaries as principals, and we call that little school around the corner the head of institution as head of teachers. So today what we see within our department are layers of discrimination, a little bit of casteism. So we have 68 job profiles, some of which we are rationalizing it, like a cinema operator assistant, a ferrer operator, things like that. So that process is being rationalized. If you look at the hierarchy of our administration, of our administrative officers, what I've come to realize is that you are doing it purely on the scale of your scale of pay. So the idea of your organization also, I'm a little bit confused because since the higher secondary people are not there, you have not included them. And when I asked our president just now, I said, can a PGT teacher be called as, an administrative officer? Yes, because of his pay scale. So if it is like that, right now we have 666 postgraduate teachers who are being excluded from you. A very dangerous number, 666. So here, the idea of an administrator, Madam Kivlenyo has highlighted, she is from the Indian Economic Service. They are trained as administrators. So the idea of administration also needs to go back to the role of an administrator in the school. That is about leadership quality, that is about and we are very happy that some of our schools are able to produce toppers in the state. So these are the three layers of leadership, and for me, I look at all this as leadership. I do not look at all this as in the rank of the pay scale, but I think what is important is that in whatever walk of life we are, in whatever capacity we are today enjoying, I think what is important is that we rise up to the occasion of giving our leadership. Today, I want to come back to some of the pertinent issues which affects us. Squabblings, fightings in between us, questions of seniority. I have been discussing this when the service rule 2017 came out. we have deeply gone back to that. We have deeply gone back to our different cadre system, and we have come to realize that there are a lot of squabblings also because we are more concerned with our entitlements. We are more concerned with squeezing what we are entitled to. And I think that is what is destroying our department. So as we consult with each other, you are all the right holders, we will consult each other, we will have to take executive decisions. We cannot let our children inherit the mess we have inherited. Today, we have inherited a mess. Our job is to rise to the occasion and do what we can do during our times. And for that, we need your inputs. For that, we need your grievances to be heard. For that, we need to understand why you are complaining, because all these are very important for all of us. We have been in service for so many years. And we as teachers, we are very simple people. We are very relaxed people. We are not there for power. We are not hungry to supersede each other. But a simple mistake, a simple executive mistake from our level, it has created a mess for us. For example, our Wotugo sir is here. During his time as director, he has not appointed a single contingency. Today we have 489 contingencies. And of course, politicians, because of public pressure, we appoint contingency. But the appointment of contingencies has been a thing which has been done by the directorate level. And we have inherited this mess. Many of them had retired, but how do we take care of them? 489. Then we have the same issues of ANAP G, 1066. We are going to take an executive decision on that. So today, my job as the elect member representing our department is to protect all of us, is to fight for all of us at the government level. And I'm there with you, for you. What you must understand is that the dignity of serving in our department has to be. Every member of our department, many of you are left without any dignity. Within the teaching class also, there are 4 categories. The regular till the fixed teacher. Within the employees also, you have regular ones till those who are getting ad hoc or scale to the level of those who are earning fixed under the minimum wages. So it is our job to bring back dignity to every individual. You are officers. I'm there for you. It is your job to guide me properly. You have been here in the job for 20, 25 years, some of you on the verge of your retirement. You know what the problems, what the issues are, and likewise, I've been doing a lot of consultancy with our different organizations, with our different cadres, with our different groups. So through your guidance, we will have to see what is possible, what is not possible, and at times we have to raise up our hands and say that we have made a mistake, but we cannot do anything about it. We cannot keep dragging ourselves. We cannot keep dragging ourselves like this anymore. So, some issues we can solve. Some issues we need to sacrifice today. You are unhappy. You are unhappy because a misdeed has been done to you by a particular section of our own federation, of our own family. So, sometimes we need to come across the table, but through understanding that you are also sacrificing, after listening to you that you had also expressed your grievances, we had to relent to each other, we need to understand each other. And for that, overhauling our cadre system is important. We need to put our service rule in place after thoroughly evolving ourselves out of our cadre. There are also a lot of mistrust. For instance, the mistrust between the directorate and the Samagra. We have the ongoing project which is nestled in our directorate, the World Bank project. These are all fraternal parts of our organization. From Delhi, since education is the current list, we need to have the Samagra up and running. The wisdom of our seniors, they had brought in this lighthouse project. But once the project is over, World Bank Lighthouse Nectar project, they will move out. Their staff will also move out. I've been telling our officers, when I first joined the department, I asked, give me the statistics. There was no statistics. Helter-skelter, they were running to Nectar. They were running to Samagra to gather statistics for me. The directorate or the director is what pumps the blood into the entire system. The directorate or the director is what directs what we should be doing. Today, I'm sorry to tell you this, there is inefficiency, there is a total breakdown of our machinery. How a file is being initiated even in the directorate, I must say, it is pathetic. So today we are all working together, we are all putting our heads together, and we need to restructure this, and we need to make sure that the directorate will be standing after all other organizations leave us, and the directorate should be there doing its finer job. So today we all have to put our heads together, and the kind of support I'm getting from the organization, from all of you, that is elementary, that is currently very crucial, because of all the officers, you had the best experiences, you had the most promising experiences. I also like to take the instance that infighting should stop in between us. Like for example, currently, out of the 16 DEOs, 4 DEOs are under the charge of PGTs. There is nothing called quota system. And if you look at the sheet of what do we call our current posting of DEO, SDEO, and AEO, only Mokchun has those 3 sets. The other districts, you all have vacancies. Vacancies are there, we are not able to fill up. I also want to inform you this, and I do not want you to panic. We had already taken an executive decision that DEOs, SDEO, and AEO posts in some districts will be handled by the civil administration as a stopgap arrangement. So I do not want you to panic. This is only a stopgap arrangement. We have 46 TOTs, EBRC coordinators. What we have done is that we had reorganized that. I did not allow any political interferences to come there. So the backbone of our administration till the individual school. Just now, I am dependent on all of you, but the only formalized process is the EBRC blocks. It is complete set. The AEO, DEO, SDEOs are all incomplete. So the only complete set we have just now, especially for information. But the TOT and coordinators are not administrators. They are just, so slowly we need to rebuild the 3-tier DEO, SDEO, and AEOs, because this is the backbone of what we need to do in the district. And for that, we will slowly move to that, but there will be some stopgap arrangements also. Today, we have the crisis of our inability to, what do we call, inform each other. I've noticed that some SDEOs are entering into what do we call land deed agreement with landowners, which is illegal. I'm also beginning to see that where there are conflict issues, there are no field reports from our officers, to the point that where schools are even being closed for months, there is no paper trail to show or indicate why they are closing down the schools. The report has not reached the directorate, it has not reached our officers. So all these things, let us look back at ourselves. I'm not here to blame anybody, and I do not want you to feel that I'm blaming anybody, but a robust system which was there before, it has grown of age. Today we need to not only revamp this, but we need to all together harness our energies. We need to put in our inputs. We need to identify where we are failing. We need to tell each other that there has to be some remarkable changes. One first step is, there was an instance where 4 DEOs were given farewell in 1 year alone. I do not know whether there are more cases. So we cannot be putting DEO post as a retirement or as a, what do we call, a farewell position. A DEO needs to have hands-on information till the last school. So minimum a DEO, if you do not have a service of another 3.5 years, you cannot be put as DEO. This we have to agree. We are not here for facilities or entitlements. We are here to work for things. We are here to work for the public cause. It is only human nature that when you are on the verge of retirement, you are interested more in getting your pension papers rather than go and visit that school. I'm not blaming anybody here, but we need to put energy. We need to put accountability into our officers. You retire today. Tomorrow another person comes. Another 3-4 months down the line, that person retires. There is no accountability in our setup. So we will create that system where accountability will be there. Today we are sending our officers, and they are all tying up with all our officers at the field. We are inspecting the schools. We had 4 or 5 briefings at the directorate with our officers who are supposed to go out to the field. I am happy but very disappointed because it is not like I had one meeting. We had 4 or 5 rounds of meetings of what to do. Every classroom, the top, the ceiling, the sides of all the 4 walls, and the floor of class A needs to be photographed, and that has to be recorded. The benches has to be recorded. What are the position of the benches? The blackboard has to be recorded in the form of photographic evidence. And this is just class 1. Class A, 1 classroom. Every classroom needs to have photo evidence, and that is where we will create a dossier of every individual school till every classroom. And that is the job of our officers, to instruct. Then I had the inventory of what Samagra has been doing for our various schools. What is the television set which was given to your school 15 years ago? Is it spoiled? If it is spoiled, where it is? Where is it? Or is it in the house of our headmaster? All inventories, consumables, which were given to the department, I had the inventory now. We are coming back to check all this. If the computer is spoiled, where is it? So everything will now be recorded, and this exercise will bring efficiency into our system. We cannot be lackadaisical. We are utilizing public properties. Public properties has to be where it is. If it is spoiled, it has to be reported. So these are some of the areas where we will put a complete dossier with a very thick document about the profile of every school. That is infrastructure. Then we will have a complete set of issues relating to land, grade 4 issues, grade 4 posts. That will also be documented. Then we will have an entire history of teachers who are posted there and who have been posted, are currently posted there. So these are some of the areas where you as officers in the field, you have to lend your support. We will be sending more, and I think we are unable to understand each other. I do not know whether it's an issue of age, but I don't think so. But what is important is that now all this needs to be said. Today we have no idea how many schools we have also. Nobody knows how many schools we have. I'm sorry to say this. We were able to generate data for every employee of ours. Not through the directorate, through the efficient nectar team. It's not your job. And I said, let's get this done in 6 months. They said, it's impossible. I forced them to do it. We got it done in 4 months. Can the directorate do it? Can our original people do it? This is what I want to question you. Where is our efficiency? So it is important for us to reclaim our efficiency. So what we have noticed is that there is no professional growth. Itu kang durit hagin na yata para retire hobo. With that mentality we have been working. We need new infusion. Nothing is indispensable. If you are no longer happy with your job, you put in your retirements and leave. But we also must understand that as a big family, we have big issues. We are unable to understand each other. For example, we have been fighting for TF for teachers, especially when you have been transferred. Our education department, a vehicle which is already rotten 20 years ago. In government papers, we are still driving that one. Because we have not initiated condemnation of that vehicle. So in government papers, we are still using that vehicle. We have never condemned any vehicle. If we don't condemn vehicle, how can we get new vehicles for our field officers? Because government thinks that we are still using all those vehicles. So we have not even done our basic jobs. And today, no vehicle. We'll never have vehicles because the government paper says that we still have this much number of vehicles. So the entire structure of the directorate has to be converted into, resettled into, and for that we need your cooperation. For that we will be initiating the Nagaland Education Administrative Service. So the relevance of our organization, I do not know once we started. And here, I do not want any discrimination between whether you are an UGT, whether you are a graduate Hindi teacher. I really don't care whether you are joint director of this particular cadre or you are so and so. There has to be dignity within ourselves. Right now, only graduate teachers and postgraduate teachers can reach the post of director. It will take another 30-40 years for a graduate teacher to reach that post. So graduate teachers, you feel that you are entitled. You don't want others to come up. For example, the Hindi section. You have made rules where you don't want, the physical education teacher to cross this, although he or she is a graduate. So let us also admit that this fighting over entitlement has to stop. And once we initiate the Nagaland Education Administrative Service, a post for about 600 perhaps, we will realign our priorities. We will create administrative posts which will be without cadre. So whether you are holding this or that cadre, we will convert all this into scale of pay. And you will not be fighting or you will not be running for your entitlements, which we have been doing this so far also because of government's irresponsibility. There is no need for you to run. It will come automatically to you. Your entitlements are not coming directly to you. That's why you have formed cadre associations. That's why you are fighting for yourself, which is very unfortunate. I'm not blaming you or any association. But all these entitlements can come directly to you without you forming an organization or pushing for yourself. But we have not been doing this. So today we are realigning things. We had already taken a decision 2-3 days back, the SLEC, which is our highest body. We will be soon launching the Nagaland Education Service. So we are not going to put like undergraduate Hindi teacher. That will be the necessity, but everybody will come under the Nagaland Education Service, and we will be doing it through the institutions of NSSB and NPSC. There will be no departmental exam for this because we have to respect and we have to create institutions for our children. So we had a meeting with NSSB and NPSC also. We want to trust you, but can we trust you? Last year, when PGT recruitment was taking place, 118, NPSC said that they cannot do it. So we had to do contract. We had to quickly recruit 180. In the process, it cost the state 1.36 crore. We as officers, our job is to create delivery. I've circulated this because I find it very interesting. I just want to mention here. And this was launched by Tony Blair's government. He in fact set up a delivery unit. And this, many countries, I just want you to read the first paragraph. An approach to manage reform initiatives, pioneered in the UK, has had significant impacts in a number of other countries globally. Three critical components of the approach are: number one, formation of delivery unit; two, data collection of setting targets and trajectories; and three, establishment of routing. All these are missing in our system. We have no data to work on. We have, and this is delivery unit. When we say delivery unit, this is not a project management team. This is, one should say, it should be an extension of a permanent structure. When I say the extension of a permanent structure, where is the permanent structure of the directorate and the district administration? We have created permanent structures, but it's all fallen. It is no longer standing. So when we are here talking about a delivery unit, we are here talking about a permanent structure which should be permanently in place to make things happen. Primary teachers, for instance, the DEOs should be transferring them at their district level. Why should it come to the directorate? And why should it go to the government for approval? We are not willing to take risk anymore because the permanent structure which initially should be there, it's not there. We will not take risk. So our job today is to rebuild all those pillars which had fallen apart. We have to regain all these things so that we reorganize. So I do not know the priority of the organization also, but I wish the organization, rather than tell us, and which is also important, tell us the entitlements which have been denied to us, put that also, but also put up a proper, in written, how or what we can do. What are the things? I'm happy that you have initiated or you had highlighted that we need to have an academic cell. We definitely need an academic cell. We need to understand what is happening. We need to have committees headed by our own officers who should be fingertips able to understand what is happening globally, what is happening nationally, and how it effectuates our local schools, the stand-alone schools. We need ideas today. We feel that many of you are not able to give in your ideas, although you had a lot of rich experience of field experiences. I wish the organization, you have more smaller study groups or set up committees where you can deliberate on many of the issues which are confronting our department and put it in written, the challenges we face, where we have failed, what are the solutions you have, or in what way, how do you envision things. I think today we need to listen and to each other more. We need to understand each other more through listening, to give your inputs, because all these are necessary, because where are we going ahead without ourselves? Whom are we leading without we being the leaders? These are pertinent issues which challenge all of us, and I know wherever you are all handling a lot of stress. As a big department, 20,000 plus, we all know that many of our teachers, especially our teachers and our co-workers, some of them carry real burden. They are in pain. Everybody wants to be transferred to Kohima and Dimapur. There are cases, very genuine cases, where if they do not have local support, if they do not have political support, they are unable to, and yet they suffer. Take the case of Atikum. There is one postgraduate teacher. She can no longer speak, and she's a young girl, and she's our English teacher. So she comes and hovers around the school because she's feeling guilty that she will not be, she's getting her salary, and yet she's feeling guilty. But the principal, I went there personally, Chichano, she said, there is no need for you to be around here. She's just sitting there. Till the time she has been, or she takes medical retirement, or till the time she is removed from that place, we cannot send in another teacher, and they don't have, and they won't have a teacher. So we have realized that many of our teachers, they carry real burden. Some of them are into their last stage of survival. We need to get all these reports. Papers are coming straight to me, straight to Madam Kevlin, straight to our directors. We do not know the field condition. It has to be vetted at your level, at the district level. They have to be investigated. We need to care for them. We need to understand the pain they are going through. All heart-wrenching, miserable stories of pain and loss and tears. That's how you ask for your transfer orders. That we have become immune to all this, and we are not able to recognize that there in a corner, somebody is suffering. It is our job as a big department. We have to personalize our administration. Personalizing each other. Take the case of a school which I visited when I first joined. In fact, the first school which I joined, the Longri Mentang High School in Sudikong. The first school I visited after Azimuddin. The teachers, including the head of institution, the teachers, they have uniforms, they wear t-shirts. The camaraderie, the closeness they have. And there are two high schools, by the way, in Sudikong. One is run by our great church organization. So only one can survive. Our government school is doing well, and the other one is going down. Today we have challenges where we hung our head in shame when matric results come out. There is no need. I tell our officers, I tell everybody, what can you do? Pull in their ears. In class 10, class 9, we have the highest number of children, and many of these children will be stopping their formal education forever. The highest number of children are in class 9. And it's sad. If they were with us for another couple of years, perhaps they would have become another person. But they are going away from our system. So I've been telling teachers, be kinder to our children in class 9. Likewise, what I can tell you is that overall, whether you are in urban area or in rural area, I don't trust. I have lots of trust deficits. I don't trust our village, our SMCs. We should not trust them. And we should not trust our teachers also, by the way, officers. We should have low trust level till we reform things. We have to specify, we have to go and check it for ourselves. In my constituency, which is just next to Kohima, there is a school in Jedema Model School. They regularly, turn by turn, go to the village down there to bring 2 children from the Kuti, 2 Nepalese. Forcefully bring them to the school, because once these 2 are not there, it is 0 enrollment. So teacher has to be taken out. So immediately we had just taken the decision that we will be closing down 27 schools. We will be closing nearly 100 schools this year. Our target is to close down about 450 schools in the next 3 to 4 years. We will make our schools more productive. We will make sure that our schools are efficient. We will make sure that this appeasement policy of everybody, every big village Kel wants to have a school, that we should stop. We are also encountering the problems of the mushrooming of private schools. So right now we have 706 private schools. Recently we have given recognition for 69 private schools to be recognized. We call it provisional. I have gone over the rules. None of the schools fit into the policy framework which we have made amended in 2018. None of them fit into this. So now we will ask them to retrofit according to the rule of law which was there. We will now apply a lot of rules. Our new recruitment, we will be taking in some, what do we call, ministerial staffers. We will be opening up a lot more higher secondary because colleges are now not allowed to take up 11 and 12. We were not prepared for that. Mon district alone, 1,439 passed matriculation this year. If they come to Kohima, Dimapur for class 11, there is no room for them. And in Mon, unfortunately, many will not be going to class 11 because simply there is no more facility for them to take up. So a place like Kohima Reserve here or like the higher secondary schools which we have, you put the doors saying that only classroom can accommodate 80 people, 60 people. After that, you shut your doors. But look at Jaluki Arts. They had to take in 161 because they cannot shut their doors. So much public pressure. No clock. 157 class 11 admission arts. So there is a new vibe coming up. People are beginning to trust our system now. If our higher secondaries are slowly coming to place, everybody is clamoring for our higher secondaries. Why cannot we make our high schools the same thing? Why cannot we? The importance of, it's not just socialist agenda, but the importance of re-strengthening our organization vis-a-vis through our school is, our people are so poor. Education, every family is invested in this. And yet, they borrow for readmission in private schools. They don't come to our school because they don't trust our schools anymore. We need to rebuild that trust with the public. We will prior hand inform that we are sending these teachers. We will let the public know that these teachers are now being posted, so on and so forth. Let the public bring back their children and put them in our schools, because this will help rural indebtedness. Our people are so poor, and yet today the largest development money which is spent is on education. And the state government is also spending money on this, but it is also the individual parents, the poorest of the poorest parents, who are pulling out money from their pockets through borrowing and spending it on education. So today, once our department put things into place, our economy, rural economy will also grow. They rear one pig, they don't even get to eat a piece of its meat. They sell right away for their children's education. It is our task to bring back rural economy through our school education system also. And officers, you had a lot of experiences. I wish all of you can put in your listing through a format. Take a little time. We are all used to all these things. Let us reactivate our brain. Let us reactivate our motor skills. And let us put in memoirs. Let us put in suggestions. Let us put in all these things so that we all collectively put our minds. We have just initiated the early child and care education. For us to see results, we have to go back to the roots. By pulling their ears in class 9, 10, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to get at anything. So it is important for us that the progress which ultimately will come, many of us will not see, but as teachers, it's a noble profession because we work for others, not for ourselves. It is called noble because we are giving our best for others, which is not even our family or our close friends. So today, let us endeavor, because all of you first step into the noble profession. Today you have risen to being officers. So I salute all of you. Harsh words sometimes comes out, but let us also audit ourselves, and let us all personalize our relationship, because private schools are doing better because there is a lot of personalization. Everybody knows each other, and there is a lot of teamwork. Let us all also sacrifice our bitterness if it is for good. But last and final, let us not let our children inherit the mess. Let us all put our minds together and clear our mess as far as possible. With that long speech, thank you all so much.
Mugaho Shimo, SDEO and Vice President, and Siwa for his remarks on the first session.
Thank you so much for the time. I, on behalf of myself and on behalf of Nagaland School Education Administrative Officers Association, firstly would like to thank our special guest and honorable advisor for making yourself available to grace the 15th General Conference of ANSWA. Your presence here makes a difference. Releasing of ANSWA Constitution, the first officially released constitution, and your visionary, inspiring, and in some cases a direct short speech. Thank you so much, sir. To our 10th speaker, Srimati Kevilino Angami, Commissioner Secretary, your presentation will leave a lasting impression, and we have found your insight informative and inspiring. Thank you, Madam. I would also like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone involved in making this conference a resounding success. To our participants and attendees, your active engagement and participation have made this conference meaningful. I also would like to comment that our cadres and our association is ever ready to bow down or to climb up to settle the differences for the benefit and growth of our department. Thank you all once again, and let us continue to collaborate and work together towards our shared goal. Thank you all.